The man accused of setting a house on fire in San Marcos and killing both people inside was in front of a judge today. I have more from inside the courtroom.
Charged with DUI for the fourth time, the suspect accused of causing that crash that left that Jeep in the Sweetwater River faced those murder charges today.
Legendary surfer and shaper from San Diego dies at age 88. The life and lasting legacy of Don Hansen.
A mom called to get help for her son, but her 8-year-old daughter had other ideas. The unexpected twist that changed her life forever.
The man accused of setting fire to a home in San Marcos, killing 2 people inside, faced a judge for the first time today. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. News 8's Alex Cheney was inside the courtroom for today's arraignment. He joins us live from Vista with the details. Alex.
It was a packed courtroom today as family and friends of the victims were all there to see the suspect, Luis Alvarado. Now, Alvarado was charged today. However, he did not enter a plea because the judge decided to put a pause on criminal proceedings so that they could evaluate his mental competency to stand trial. Here's more.
Okay, this is 26 CFZ.
In the Vista courtroom today, 33-year-old Luis Alvarado was charged with 2 counts of murder and arson, with special circumstances of double homicide and arson of a dwelling that leads to death. The judge ordered us not to show you his face, but we know what he looks like from video during his arrest after the fire started last Saturday night.
Yeah, my 2 laptops in the possession of those people over there.
Police say Alvarado was renting a room at the house on Lace Bark Street in San Marcos. Video captured the flames leaping out of the 2-story house. The San Diego County Sheriff's Office identified the victims as 73-year-old Michael Austin and his wife, 72-year-old Catherine Austin. Neighbors described them as foster parents and great people the day after the fire.
It's just devastating. I mean, they were just the best people.
And she was so sweet. Like I said, she would walk sometimes her grandkids to school and with their dog Journey.
And they have filled the courtroom.
The deputy district attorney mentioned the victims' supporters in court today.
The victims have multiple family members and people of support in their community, and it's always important to recognize that they are there, they are seen, and they are looking for justice in this case.
The DA says the community wants justice.
I think these 2 people were beloved parents, beloved members of the community, and their loss is incredibly tragic.
There are still 2 criminal cases already pending against Alvarado in North County at the time of the fire. One case, Alvarado allegedly threatened his roommates with a knife, and another for threatening a previous landlord. The judge terminated the mental health diversion for those cases, but the charges remain. Luis Alvarado is currently being held with no bail as he faces the possibility of life in prison without parole or death. His next court appearance is May 14th. Reporting live, I'm Alex Cheney. Back over to you.
Such a tragedy. Thanks, Alex. Meantime, the man accused of driving under the influence, slamming into the back of a Jeep and sending it plunging into the Sweetwater River below was also in court today, facing murder charges. We also learned he has 3 prior DUI convictions.
News 8's Jenny Day poured over the rest of his lengthy criminal record and joins us live from the South Bay Courthouse with more. Jenny.
Yeah, 61-year-old Douglas Guyton has already at least 4 felony convictions. Today, he pleaded not guilty to 3 new felonies. He's accused of driving drunk and causing that crash that killed a married couple from right here in Chula Vista.
He enters pleas of not guilty, denying any and all allegations.
61-year-old Douglas Guyton appeared in a blue jailhouse jumpsuit in shackles, pleading not guilty to DUI and 2 counts of murder for the deaths of Ignacio and Monica Silvia Pedroza. He was 60, she was 53. We were ordered to blur the defendant's face.
So under California law, you can be charged with second-degree murder when you have been warned about the dangers of drinking and driving. 2 hours post-collision, the defendant's blood alcohol content was a 0.176%. This tragedy took 2 people away from their families. They were parents, they were siblings, they were daughters, sons, and they were no longer here because the defendant chose to drink and drive that day.
Prosecutors say 4 days ago, Guyton was speeding in this Volkswagen seen here at the scene. then rear-ended the Pedrosa's Jeep, sending it over the ledge and into the Sweetwater River below. The medical examiner says both blunt force injuries and water submersion contributed to their deaths, meaning they may have initially survived the fall, then drowned. It happened on the 54 West at the 5 South interchange in National City. At least 15 of their family members or friends were in court today, some crying so hard the bailiff brought them tissues.
Drinking and driving is incredibly dangerous, and these deaths were completely and utterly preventable.
As for the defendant, my search of his prior criminal record shows those 3 prior DUI convictions: felony domestic violence, battery, burglary, trespassing, stolen firearm, and restraining order violations. He served several stints in jail.
And now Guyton is facing 30 years to life in prison. He does remain in jail tonight, no bail. And really, our hearts go out to the Pedrosa family. Live in Chula Vista, Jenny Day, News 8.
Thanks so much, Jenny. A suspicious death in Vista from earlier this week has now turned into a homicide investigation.
News 8's Tori Apodaca shows what we know right now.
Body was initially discovered on the 1200 block of Hacienda Drive back on Monday. This area is near the 78, just a few blocks away from the Costco and right beside the Bella Terra apartments. At that time on Monday, investigators say that they did not have any clues that indicated that there was trauma, but that all changed with the autopsy. The sheriff's homicide unit is now leading the investigation, and that takes us back out to today, where investigators are still looking for more clues into this. We did learn that there was a memorial that was created for that person, but at this time they are not identifying them. Reporting in Vista, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Thank you, Tori. Tonight, a North County couple is facing human trafficking and wage theft charges, accused of exploiting immigrant workers at 2 Escondido senior care homes. Prosecutors say the victims were Filipino immigrants who were forced to work around the clock, caring for up to 20 bedridden patients, sometimes giving medication with no proper training. The DA says some were paid as little as $7 an hour, with wages withheld in exchange for help with their immigration status.
Trafficking is modern day slavery, which is often cages that don't have bars, that are invisible.
The couple has pleaded not guilty and is free tonight on $300,000 bail. California's governor's race has a crowded field and a major problem for the candidates.
Voters barely know who's running. News 8 State Matters political reporter Jenny Hush shares more on the enthusiasm gap heading into the June primary.
Right now, there's very little enthusiasm for many Californians. It still feels too early to fully engage in this race, which is why a lot of voters say they're still undecided on who they'll support for governor. What is the biggest indicator that there is low interest overall?
Well, I think the buzz, right? You don't hear a lot of people talking about in their regular daily lives who's running for governor of California.
The polling is showing that, there's nobody that's consolidated the Democratic majority.
In the race to succeed Gavin Newsom as governor of California, poll after poll shows no clear frontrunner amid the 10 top candidates, 8 Democrats, 2 Republicans. In fact, the biggest number in surveys of likely voters is the percentage of those still undecided.
People are just not going to be super excited about the race for governor.
They're also just not finding these candidates interesting.
There will be more than 60 candidates on the June ballot for governor.
A crowded ballot really shouldn't discourage participation. I really don't see Californians as disengaged. I just think everyone's navigating a lot of noise right now.
Expect a lot more noise, from nonstop campaign ads to intensifying partisan politics, all of it ramping up as we get closer to Election Day, experts say.
The political tone has become toxic, or more toxic than it's been.
Which strategists say are all indications of likely low voter turnout, especially since it's the most partisan voters that participate in primaries anyways.
I don't think the issue is trying to make people care. They do. It's just that we need to meet them where they're at and make participation in our democracy feel relevant and accessible.
Jenny Farrell, executive director of the League of Women Voters of California, a nonpartisan group that advocates for voting rights and access, says when people believe their vote matters, they're more likely to show up and vote.
They're feeling it at the gas pump. They're feeling it at, with their health insurance bills and with grocery bills.
Turnout can have a significant impact. It could even determine whether 2 Republicans advance to the November runoff if Democrats split their vote. And no Democrat for governor in November would affect turnout there as well.
What's driving turnout is top of the ticket, which means the governor's race is going to drive turnout. It's not going to be, the local school board race.
These experts say with ballots going out in a month, it's up to voters to do their research and for candidates to go beyond name ID.
That alone does not win you the race. Now you have to close the deal with voters of what, at some point, how are you going to be a better governor?
People are very hard to reach.
And some key primary election dates. County elections offices will start mailing ballots on May 4th. The last day to register to vote is May 18th, and primary election day is June 2nd. Jenny Hutt, News 8.
Thanks, Jenny. And here are some key election dates for you to keep in mind. County elections offices will start mailing ballots starting May 4th. The last day to register to vote is May 18th, and primary election day is June 2nd.
One of the world's most beloved children's board games has hidden ties to San Diego.
We'll share those details with you still ahead. Plus, San Diego's surfing community mourning the loss of a local legend. We're sharing the legacy of Don Hanson and the waves he changed forever.
And why your next Amazon delivery might cost you more.
A lot of cloud cover in our forecast for today. Area of low pressure is moving through the west. That prompted it, but offshore winds are back, and so a lot more sunshine is going to be on the way with warmer temps. Your complete forecast is ahead.